Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Track to the deepest, lowest vibration emotion back to when it first began at whatever age, even as early as in the womb, because your subconscious knows all that, and you get this, Dr. Foojan. So you go all the way back and release that, and it creates space, and then you can reprogram your subconscious with all your deepest truths, and new emotions will automatically come. So there's some reparenting involved in there, but it's you will discover the truth of your being. So as long as you're running around with these blocks, you're not going to discover your deepest truths because they're hiding under the.
Introducing a powerful new update from the Foojan app. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Foojan. Download today.
Welcome to the Inner Voice, a Heartfelt Chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan. I'm a psychotherapist and author and the founder of the International Awareness Integration Institute. And today, I will be talking with Cheryl Stelte. She's a spiritual coach. She's a master healer and a best-selling author of 3 books. The most recent, we're going to be talking about, From Blocked to Powerful, the spiritual guide to unlocking inner clarity and authentic power. With over 30 years as a spiritual entrepreneur, she's helped thousands of women break through subconscious blocks, claim their true voice, and step in to their most powerful aligned self. Through her company, Stelte Designing for the Soul, she combined aesthetics with deep healing. Her path has led her from boardrooms to remote villages, living with the Maasai in Kenya to stop early marriage, and with the shore in Ecuador to teach self-sufficiency and confidence. Cheryl holds the certificates in acupressure and retreat Huding Hurkalaya healing. I hope I'm saying those right. She's a Reiki master and a shamanic healing and a spiritual mentorship and spiritual coach. She's a founder of the Star of Divine Light Institute and Azaria's Energy Healing Certification Program. She trains coaches and healers to create profound transformation for people. We had an amazing conversation going from especially about her book and what her journey has been and what she experiences in working with people in not only defining where the blocks are and then integrating them, healing them, and then bringing all of the amazing experience that a person has all together. So I'm sure that you'll enjoy the conversation as much as I do. We try to kind of like explain and open this concept up as much for people who are in tune and for people who are familiar with these new age spirituality. Obviously, this will be something that will resonate with you. For people who are not necessarily familiar with that, just open yourself with those conversations and see, and I'm sure that you'll gain as much as I have. Now, be sure to subscribe to my podcast, my YouTube channel, and connect with me through my website, foojanzane.com, or any of the social media. I love to hear from you. Share your thoughts with me. Your thoughts are a jewel, and it will always help me help everyone in a sense and bring what's best for what you as an audience are. Okay? So without further ado, here's Cheryl Stelte.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Foojan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Foojan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Intentional Parenting, a practical guide to awareness integration theory
Written by Dr. Jafari, Dr. Foojan Zain, and Dr. Manoukian, 3 experts in human development, is your step-by-step guide to raising a healthy child prepared for a culturally integrated world. You're supported in parenting infants to adolescents using the latest evidence-based scientific research on parenting. Order your copy on Amazon now.
Welcome, Cheryl Stelte, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I am thrilled to be here with you today.
So you have an interesting journey. And I love for you to share your journey, which also led to your book that we're also going to talk about, From Blocked to Powerful. And something I noticed that a lot of the conversation is about how to bring this journey to women. So share the journey and then share with us, how come only to women?
Well, the journey began early on, 32 years ago, actually. And it started by a really profound experience where I was on the beach one day on Vancouver Island. And the long and the short of it was my deceased brother, who had taken his life, his spirit came and visited me. And I never felt so much love in my life. It was in...
How did you experience that?
My friend was practicing kinesiology on me on the beach, and she was just learning this and kind of clearing energy and that sort of thing. And it was a huge ball of white light hovering above me, just like this. And the love was so immense. I just started crying, and I knew it was him. It was, I remember it like it was yesterday, and he ended up speaking to me through her. And she had never channeled anybody. She suddenly, she's going on with all her muscle testing and everything. And I'm trying to I want to tell her that this is happening. And she just keeps talking. And then she said, "It's your brother." She goes, "Oh my God, he's here." And I said, "I know." And his message to me was to meditate. To start meditating. Now, 32 years ago, meditation was not a thing. Spirituality was not popular.
Right.
None of that going on in my world in Northern Alberta, Canada. Those were not the people.
Right.
And so I did start meditating. And because early on, I started using the full breath, a long breath, I started accessing my subconscious and started healing myself. And it's so interesting that you asked me the question about why just women? Because those are primarily the people who have come to me. But what's recently been happening, I'm getting men. I'm getting these men who are interested in evolving spiritually. They've had spiritual backgrounds. One guy is 37 and tremendous spiritual background with pretty serious mental health issues. And I did a chakra reading on him, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, I can help you for sure. I know." And I give people a money back guarantee. And this other fellow is 69, and he knows what his purpose is, and he has a sense of it, but he knows he has blocks. All these people that were come to me know they have subconscious blocks. So this is so exciting. It's so exciting. Yes, I have worked with men periodically, but it's been primarily the women. And I have to wonder if we're experiencing a shift. If the men are now stepping forward and going, "Oh, me too." It's the me too.
Yes. And I think what I've experienced also with a lot of CEOs, C-suite men who have kind of worked their success and they've kind of hit in a place of, okay, what now? I need something more. And I got the game of how to be successful in the doing world of out there. And now I'm interested really in exploring my inner world and worlds that are beyond, my access. So I think, we're getting a little bit more of that experience. I think women are more for healing purposes. They do want to go inside and find their power in, from inside out. But thank you for sharing, because seeing, what the difference was for you. So as this kind of message was there for you to go meditate, and then, and so what was the inner journey for you?
I started accessing my repressed emotions. Whoa. It just became something, it became a lifestyle, that these emotions started coming up, because I learned in our family, the parents being an emotional resource back in those days was not a thing. And expressing your emotions fully, hello, that it wasn't, it was very common. I'm 64 years old. That's a long time ago. It wasn't what people did so much, and you held certain things in. We were heavily conditioned. You have to be a certain way. This is how you're expected to behave, etc. And so I started accessing and started healing myself. And the first, I would say, 10 years were very much about healing. And then it became more about the empowerment. And and early on, people started asking me for help. Uh, so I would lead meditations, and I very soon into that time started studying and practicing shamanism. And I saw shamanic journeying and meditation as very different, two different modalities. And I still see it that way to a certain extent. I've sort of, in my book that we're going to be talking about, From Block to Powerful, I do combine the two. So it was years later that I was able to really see that. And
Before you go further, can you share with our audience what about shamanism? Because I think people have different views or different uh, ideas about what shamanism is. So can you share what you mean by shamanism?
shamanism is exploring ourselves and the world through a different lens, sort of the multi-dimensionality, the connection of all things, unity consciousness. I learned so much about unity consciousness through shamanism. It can be used for healing. It can be used for understanding other people, situations, very much for personal growth. And yet, I kind of reached a peak with it. I kind of reached a peak with it about 15 years ago, and moved more wholly into meditation. And then, of course, something like that, when you're with it for so long, it doesn't really leave us. It came back to me, but differently. So now I practice what I call heart-centered shamanism. And I don't write anything. I don't teach on that per se, except for in my more, I have an advanced program that was focused on my most recent book. But what happened with the shamanism, you learn to journey, and the premise is you leave your body. You go to the middle world, the upper world, the lower world, and so you leave your body, and you do all these things. Where what I realized later is that everything is within us, and we don't need to leave the body. And so I simply stopped doing that and shifted any of the practices, and especially the practice of merging is, I've been merging for 30 years. You don't leave your body to do that. That's one practice that we can all benefit from, because it helps us tune into the oneness of all, tune into the illusion of separation, that we really are all, at the very least, connected, and we are of the same fabric. We are all part of the divine, period. Everything is. And we can merge with a table, we can merge with a human, a plant, a tree, etc.
So thank you for sharing that, because I think that's very important for people to, because sometimes we go into this wonderland and don't know if something is someone else's particular experience, and then when it sometimes is set as a universal concept, then it's like, well, the science is there and it's not, and whether science has proven it yet or not. So for the audience who are dabbling with these conversations, just kind of like opening it up and looking at, yeah, this goes beyond what science has proved already, but in experience and an internal experience, as you said, even with it from, I'm a therapist for 30 years. So sometimes we look at even the merging of all of our different parts, every part of us, which has kind of separated, and how we bring our different parts together and merge and integrate it together, as what I do in my theory, awareness integration. So it's the information that you have inside of you and how you actually tune into that. You also talk, obviously, your book is from block to power. So when you talk about blocks, can you share what you mean by blocks and how these blocks get created? Because obviously we have our own version of it from a psychological perspective, but I want you to share from your perspective, where do these blocks come from and how are we blocked?
Yes. And so from the perspective of science, it is now proven that trauma is encoded in the right side of the brain, in the subconscious, through physical sensations and emotions, not through linear memories.
Yes.
Not through linear memories. And so old therapy, and still happening today, we focus on what we do remember and we talk and talk and talk about it. But what I learned so early on was to process those emotions that were hidden. Those are the blocks. And that's the deepest layer. So trauma is stored. Any memories are fragmented. They are just pieces. And what I've found with some therapy, even EMDR, the therapist will guide you to fill in the blanks, the pieces, who is there, what's in the environment, all those pieces. But the memory doesn't exist, so the left brain keeps trying to jump in and fill in the gaps. You get this, you get this. And it's like, no, we don't need, let's focus on the physical sensations. How do you feel that in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? And the emotions. And I work directly with the chakras. So what I did for years when I was helping people and myself, you're going to get physical sensations, could be pain, coldness, heat, vibration, tingling, all that sort of thing during a healing, or even, I teach people how to become their own energy worker. That's the meditation. But you might get that in your body. So you might be focused in your root chakra, and here you get this pain in your shoulder. So we naturally want to shift our focus to the shoulder. Stop right there. Don't do that. I discovered because the wound, the block, is actually located in the root chakra. And it's sort of like, I call it the dandelion analogy. It's like a dandelion. We all know, we see the dandelion, we see that bright yellow flower, but if the dandelion is the block, we can't just pull the flower off. We can't just pull the plant from the top of the earth. We have to dig down. And it's digging down to the bottom of the root in whatever chakra and whatever energy center you're working in. So you notice the pain in the shoulder, it's secondary. And you keep your focus in the root chakra until that emotion dissipates. And if I can also say, you follow, there's layers of emotions. So you follow what I call the emotional thread. One of my clients deemed it the emotional track to the deepest, lowest vibration emotion, back to when it first began at whatever age, even as early as in the womb, because your subconscious knows all that. And you get this, Dr. Foojan. So you go all the way back and release that, and it creates space. And then you can reprogram your subconscious with all your deepest truths, and new emotions will automatically come. So there's some reparenting involved in there, but it's you will discover the truth of your being. So as long as you're running around with these blocks, you're not going to discover your deepest truths because they're hiding under those blocks.
So we carry many of these blocks, and just for people to have an understanding that some of these blocks are coming from things that we made up as we were growing up. Things could have happened in our environment, and then we put a slant on it, a negative slant. And we made some decisions about who we are and who the world is and kind of held them. Or there was something we got from, an abuse from outside. And not only the abuse had an impact, but also we set up some specific meaning around those, and then we kept them. And seems like all of these become some blocks, or they're belief systems that our society, our community gives us, which holds, it holds us in a box in a sense. So these become blocks. And then if we're going into the world and the world is teaching us something else, or we want to go beyond it, it seems like these type of belief systems will hold us. And it becomes a duality between what we really want and what we think that is holding us back. And all of these thought processes obviously have an electric charge, and they have some level of energy that are in our body. And you work with the energy centers to start, pouring them out. And then as you work with the energy centers, these blocks start showing up, saying this is what it is. And you're saying that you keep focusing on them and looking at them, and you share yourself with them, and you kind of like allow them to emerge and open up, and you don't lose focus because you have pain all over, because the energy centers that you're looking at, which each one of the energy centers have focus on one sub areas, and as you're working with them, it seems like you're saying healing happens because integration happens, and as you integrate those parts of you, these things open up. And then you can bring different types of beliefs and emotions that show up because these all have been released and integrated.
Yes, that's exactly it. And there's the empowerment piece. So when you find the truths, often by the end of a session, people are ecstatic, or they're moved into a state they haven't yet experienced. It's the joy of discovering some new truth or truths in their being. And that brings in the light. It brings in a new energy where there's a new flow in the entire system. It's so the chakras, the meridians, we have thousands of energetic systems. And so that's the piece that then helps us move forward, because we gain clarity through that. And that's often when we have the blocks, we're lacking clarity. So even those men you're talking about, CEOs, and how men are now sort of coming to the forefront of their lives and seeing, oh, there's got to be more. What happens with men and women is we all reach a certain stage in our lives where we have a certain amount of accomplishment under our belts. We become an expert in something in our own ways. And this is why I like to work with mature people. I don't work with young people anymore. I want the ones who have suffered over the years, who have put the time in, who've done the work. They're experienced. But what happens is we reach a certain level that we don't have the fulfillment we once had. Whether we're running a huge corporation, or no matter what we're doing, it's like, whoa, there's got to be more. What's going on? And we don't know. We don't know what it is. And it's a time of unlearning, of surrender, and such deep healing can happen during that time. And whatever has worked for you in the past is no longer working. So sometimes businesses fail, marriages fail, our health fails, because we keep trying to do the same thing when we're actually evolving and we're pushing against it. And it's that allowing. And so it's those people that know they're meant for more, but they're just lost. They just don't have the clarity. And then it's such an opportunity to unlearn everything and discover yourself anew.
Yes. So we carry a lot of these concepts about power, about worth, about visibility, about prosperity, about, am I worth to have this visibility and people to get to know me for who I am? Am I worth having, my power be shown without having to play small or feel threatened or threaten people by it? Am I worthy enough to have financial freedom and know that I can experience my own experience with it? So a lot of these concepts will hold us back. And in your book, you talk about clarity. which is partly a mindset shift, but the mindset shift comes from an alignment of who we are, our values, and our goals. And as they come together, then we move forward. And I think a lot of what you're talking about is how you get attuned, how you integrate all of those pieces from inside, actually, like from meditating, from looking, from bringing those energy centers or energy, any energy that blocks you, and then you open them up.
Yes. And, you keep mentioning the word integration, which is,
That's my word, because I love
I
those.
love it.
The name
Love
of
it.
the name of my theory is awareness integration. So I'm so in tune with integration. That's why it keeps coming up.
Well, and it's a powerful word because you hit it at the core in that we discover all our clarity inside. So when people take affirmations that someone else has taught, oh, do all these affirmations, those are from somebody else. What are yours? I help you discover your own affirmations, and the integration is the empowerment piece. And then I always say you turn around and you're different. So you go into your life. This is the integration piece. You say things, you do things, you attract people you couldn't have done before, and you're integrated and you're like, wow, I'm so different. I never would have done that. It's energetic integration. It's not left brain. It's not left brain. It's because you embody it. And like you said, Dr. Foojan, you align to it energetically. So your world shifts to match your new vibration. Your everything integrates within you and without you.
Yes. Everyone, go get this book, From Blocked to Powerful. This is the book by Cheryl Stelte, From Blocked to Powerful. And let me see, the spiritual guide to unlocking and clarity, creating clarity and authentic power. Talk about authentic power.
Ah, yes. Authentic power is a state of being. Power is such a misunderstood concept. And authentic power it's kind of like the person in the room who says the least, but they have the greatest influence. Power is about having a greater influence on the world, humanity, your life than it has on you. And, I do group energy healings. I've done a lot of them in the past, and a lot of women attend. And when I have the theme as power, authentic power, they have all these words. I ask everybody to set their intention, and they have all these words. And then I lead them in a meditation to find, their exact words. So they all write them in the chat. Everything I do is online. But at the end, what they discover is that authentic power is peaceful, authentic power is calm, authentic power is love. Authentic power is being. And sometimes authentic power is very fiery and expressive and joy, but it's often, and these women are like, wow, I didn't know. Because when you get into your inner knowing, you're fully integrated, right? You're calm. You don't have to force anything. You're relaxed. So authentic power is knowing that you can handle anything and you don't have to worry. Fear cannot exist in authentic power. And we're so conditioned to fear. So we're so conditioned to feel powerless. And this is where humanity, I think we're really heading in the right direction. We're making mistakes along the way, but it's so much a part of our collective evolution.
Right. We've gone from the fashion world to living in Kenya, and then, from Kenya, you went to Ecuador, right?
Ecuador and then Kenya, yes.
Ecuador and then Kenya. And one of the things that you've shared in your book is that where something that you've seen globally, everywhere, is how the fear of being safe puts us at a small place. Like I know that I've experienced this, and this is something that I constantly have battled with, which is if I'm seen out there, if I live my whole power, then I will be harmed. So in order to be safe, I have to kind of like hide. And then obviously hiding is not satisfying enough, and it's not, living my true power. And then the minute I want to, go through toward my power, then like you said, there's a comment here, there's something there that I hear something about somebody didn't like something, and then I get afraid and go back into like a cocoon and want to play small. And as you said, this is something that you've experienced with humanity everywhere. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. Safety is such an important topic. And actually safety and stability, feeling safe and stable in the world, we have all been born to discover this at a higher level. So everything where we feel fear, where we don't feel safe, we don't feel stable, is serving us to help us grow. We need to experience a lack of safety and stability so we can stop from shrinking. We can release that energy of shrinking and becoming small into becoming expansive. And that's powerful, where we feel safe and stable no matter what. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world. And safety and stability is such a core of the work I do. And I actually, I would love to put in the show notes my 3 powerful meditations to help people learn to access their subconscious. And then I have a meditation creating safety and stability. All work starts there. It's the base of the root chakra. And it is so powerful to move from safety and stability into trust and faith. We cannot trust ourselves. We cannot trust life. We cannot trust God. We cannot trust anything until we feel safe and stable. The next layer is trust and faith. And so we're all being challenged to have that. And the more we develop that safety and stability, and just noticing, oh, wow, look at this. Oh. And being able to rise above anything and know that you're safe, because we're all souls in human form. We can't even be killed. Our human flesh can be killed, but the soul lives on. And to know that you're here for so much learning and multiple reasons that you are safe. You're loved all the time. And it's not a knowing in your left brain, it's a feeling. You're aligned to safety and stability. So important, so fundamental.
And the feeling comes from a knowing, but the knowing it's not like knowledge coming from outside. It's a knowing that you have the feeling has words around it and the image around it. And that image and the word are also an inner knowing that shows up.
Yes, that's it. The inner knowing comes from that safety in the root chakra. So when I do chakra readings, that's one of the first things I look at. I always get the number one message people need to hear. That's the first thing that always comes. And then I look in the root chakra and we're looking at safety and stability. And I'm shown immediately if there are any blocks and what they're about and where the energy is flowing well. So there's different levels. The chakra centers are so multifaceted. I don't just see them as, mandalas or lotus flowers in those colors. I see the energy where the light is flowing well and where the blocks are. And we're forever being challenged. I've been doing this 32 years. I'm not done. Are you done, Dr. Foojan?
Oh no, every day something new pops up and I'm like, oh, interesting. Thank you. And even the things that I've worked through, even traumas, physical traumas that I've worked through so many different modalities. Obviously, psychotherapy has always been a part of it, but where psychotherapy could not complete it, or it wasn't sufficient enough to move beyond, because every modality has its own let's say restrictions, or it has its limitations. So a combination of all of these, I think that we go from one method to another just to grasp, the depth of who we are. And I even see, the old traumas that have affected in so many different layers that you open up in one layer, and then 20 years later, I'm doing another work, and suddenly the same trauma that has impacted on some other cellular level shows up, and suddenly it releases a whole new way of and let's say just energy or thought processes or emotional concepts. Like I would be somewhere and getting a massage, for example, and then suddenly I have, the massage therapist is pushing a particular place in my body, and then the sobbing, and then just shows up and goes. I was in Maui, Cheryl, and we were dolphin watching, and then dolphins came and they were squirreling, and it was just like this amazing experience. And then we suddenly saw a whale, and then just saw the tail of the whale. I can't just tell you that my tears came, because usually it's like, tears of joy show up. This wasn't just tears of joy. My whole physical body was shaking, and I was crying, going, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea what that just happened, what kind of, effect, and the releasing, just being among dolphins and whales suddenly created. And I just, allowed this, I wasn't questioning it, but I was aware of this experience of just being around these mammals and what type of connection my body was having with that experience. So I'm flabbergasted. I'm pleasantly surprised every day as I'm just kind of like watching, and observing my body and my emotions and my thought processes, and how they manifest and how they release, get clear. It's just fascinating for me.
Yes, we don't always have to know. We
Yeah.
don't always have to know. And I've seen dolphins and I've seen whales, and it is so profound. And to me, the dolphins just represent that freedom of play, and they're so connected. It's and I've seen porpoises in groups as well. And yeah, it has brought tears to my eyes, but not to that extent. And the ongoing work, to me, what you're speaking of as well, is also what happens is we go along, and to me, it's always about healing and empowerment. And when we reach a peak state, or we move to a really high in our lives, or a new kind of success, whether it's in love or business or health, we move more into our light, and that light will always eventually shine on our darkness.
Yeah.
What is the next thing that needs to be healed? So we're always being challenged. So it's not about ever arriving, it's embracing the journey. And that's what you're speaking of.
And a lot of acceptance of that journey,
Yes.
like, sometimes it's like, oh, I don't have any ego. Oh, I don't get upset with that. And then you sit with the upset and really own it. And then you allow, like you said, the darkness or the shadow work or whatever it is that you put, you put that attention, and the attention, which you said beautifully with the light, is more the acceptance, like acceptance, observation, and watch it and move forward. And you bring that as an ACE model into your book. It's like you observe it, you really allow it to be, and it gives you a lot of information and gets released. So it's from the really being, being with yourself from a lot of love and acceptance, and attention to different parts of you as they show up, and taking them seriously, taking them that they have value and they're giving you information. Cheryl, as our time is passing, is there anything that you want people to know that we haven't shared?
Yes. We are all powerful beyond belief, powerful beyond what we can currently imagine. And it's, if you can just feel that, how it resonates in you, there's so much more to you. And it's that desire to discover it that will lead you on your journey to the best places.
Absolutely. Where could people find you?
Well, like I said early on, you can click on the meditations, and that will get you into how to access your subconscious and really heal and become empowered. So that's click that link. And my website is starofdivinelight.com, and you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Cheryl Stelte, everyone, from Block to Powerful, the spiritual guide to unlocking inner clarity and authentic power. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Oh, I'm most grateful. Thank you, Dr. Foojan.
And for all of you who are out there, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And if you liked what you hear, please share with others and let us know anything that you like. And I will send your message to Cheryl. And until next week, bye-bye.
Are you a psychotherapist looking to enhance your practice? The Awareness Integration Therapy developed by Dr. Foojan Zeine is a comprehensive guide to the principle and techniques of this powerful therapeutic approach. Join the growing community who have elevated their practice and expanded their skills by embracing Awareness Integration Therapy and witnessing its life-changing impact. Order your copy on Amazon now.